Hello and welcome to weeks 5 through 8, the first 8. This is your postnatal breathing for weeks 5 through 8. Now, if you are weeks 5 through 8 and you're just happening upon this video for the first time, I highly recommend going back to weeks 1 through 4. Even if you've surpassed those weeks and you've gotten through those miraculous weeks, sleepless weeks, please go back to them because you will want to build on the foundations that I teach within weeks 1 through 4 and then apply them to weeks 5 through 8. I suggest to anyone starting with this program always to start with week 1. It doesn't matter really where you are postnatally. Go to week 1, start slowly with the breath, with those principles, and then move through weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then coming to this foundations video for weeks 5 through 8, and then going through your weeks 5 through 8 protocol. So let's get right into it. I'm going to go into a kneeling position for the zip up activation practice and our breath choreography for weeks 5 through 8. If kneeling is not a comfortable position for you, you absolutely can sit on a physio ball or even on a chair while you perform these exercises. All that you need for today's workout is an ab ribbon, of course, and a physio ball. Also, being near a wall can be helpful if you do sit on the physio ball just for some extra stability. I'm going to go in the kneeling position for the zip up activation. I like teaching this in a kneeling position to begin because I like the sensation of pulling my knees together gently to feel a greater contraction in my pelvic floor and also subsequently my transversus abdominis. So I get that pull together with the knees. You can always kneel on an Eric's pad or a thick foam pillow if kneeling on the hard surface is not comfortable for you. Let's practice kneeling on the ground for a few sets, then we will take it to the physio ball so you can get that wonderful spherical shape of the physio ball to help you engage in the pelvic floor because you'll actually feel the pelvic floor resting in the physio ball and you'll have that tactile feedback of being able to lift the pelvic floor off of the physio ball. So let's begin here. Our breathography for weeks 5 through 8 begins with the same zip up activation that we learned in weeks 1 through 4. The only change is the speed and the rhythm. Okay, so the speed and the rhythm. So instead of pulling together on 1, zipping up pelvic floor on 2, navel on 3, ribs 4, 5, and 6, now our rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is our zip up activation rhythm for not only weeks 5 through 8 postnatal, but for all of the other workouts, the Hypoxix workouts, the total body workouts. So you hear this a lot, this cueing a lot within the program. This sets you up for success, for posture, and gets your pelvic floor and your deep transverse abs activated. Now our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what are our 5 counts? Count number 1 is the entirety of the pelvic floor. So that is the pelvic floor simultaneously pulling all 4 corners, pulling together and pulling and zipping up at the same time. So it's a sensation of scoop and lift, scoop and lift. So there's an open flower, now the flower is closing and lifting. It's drawing up, close and lift. And if you want a deeper look into the various strategies of contracting your pelvic floor, please go to the pelvic floor foundations videos at the Hypoxix.studio website. You can look at a broken down version of a 7 count sequence where we take the time to contract several components of the pelvic floor on one singular beat at a time. So please visit that video if you do want more practice breaking this down. But again, we want to eventually get ourselves to a place where we can activate that muscle a bit more quickly so that we're contracting it, we're zipping it up, and we're ready to go to integrate it into our activities of daily living. Now, it's important to slow it down like we did in weeks 1 through 4 because we want to take the time to increase the endurance of the muscle and also develop that wonderful neuromuscular contraction of to know whether or not we actually are contracting our pelvic floor muscle. It's easy to lose. You know, it really takes a lot of work, especially those first few weeks after pregnancy. So our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count 1 is scoop and lift of the pelvic floor. Count 2 is the navel pulling in. But you know from weeks 1 through 4, it's not only the navel, it's decreasing the circumference all the way around. And then count 3 is the ribs closing. We want to keep working on closing those ribs because they've been very flared over the past 9 months of pregnancy. And then count 4 is the shoulders. Count 5 is the head gently pressing back and up at a 45-degree angle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 counts on a hiss exhalation, but our new rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hiss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we inhale, double inhale. And then we go into our 8-second exhalation pattern. After our blow, hiss, soft shish, loud shish exhalation pattern, where we're loosening that ribbon around the waist, we take another double engaged inhale. So this is you learning choreography, but instead of dance choreography, it's breath choreography. That's why I call it breathography, because there are various strategies of utilizing the breathing, using very specific rhythms and tempos and frequencies and intensities to more greatly engage your core. Okay, so after the 8-second exhale, we double engaged inhale. Again, remember the engaged inhale, you stay very engaged and tight in those corset muscles. 1, 2, 8-second exhale, blow, hiss, softly shushing, loudly shushing, shh. And at the conclusion of our 2 sets of 8-second exhalations, we're going to perform an engaged inhale for 2 beats and a released inhale for 2 beats. Now that's very familiar to you because in weeks 1 through 4, we performed our ending breath, that end breath, the same way, where we do 2 engaged inhales and 2 released inhales, 1, 2, and then you go right back into that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip up activation. So let's just practice it a million times. Maybe not a million, but at least enough that it starts to become involuntary. So if you're on your knees, squeeze the knees together gently so you feel an inner thigh contraction. And now from here, let's take it from the zip up pretty fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1. Inhale 2. Blow for 2 seconds. Now you're gentle. You're still weeks 5 through 8. Soft shish. You don't want to be aggressive with that loud shish. Just enough to loosen the ribbon. Inhale. Inhale. Blow. Hiss, softly shishing, loudly shishing, loosen that ribbon. Now end breath, 2, 2, released, 2, zip up, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, loosen that ribbon, shh, engaged inhale 2, 1, 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, re-lifting pelvic floor, loud shish, 2, 2, and 1, 2, released, 2, zip up, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, loosen that ribbon, shh, engaged inhales, 2, 1, 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, shh, end breath, 2, 2, 1, 2, released, 2, and you go right back into the zip up. That is our breathography for weeks 5 through 8. So let's sit on the physio ball and let's practice a few times there, finding our neutral spine in conjunction like we did in weeks 1 through 4. So I'm going to find equal weight on my sit bones, and I'm going to let my head rest back into the wall. My shoulders are resting back, my ribs are resting back, and I'm not over flattening my low back. Let's take it from our zip up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1. Inhale 2. Blow for 2 seconds. Hiss. Your pubic bone is pulling right into that tailbone, loud shish. Engaged inhales 1, 2. Blow for 2 seconds. Feel the pelvic floor lifting. Hiss. Softly shishing, loudly shishing. Not too aggressive. End breath. 2, 2, 1, 2. Released. 2. Zip up, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, blow for 2 seconds. You're just staying gently engaged in your corset the whole time until we get to that ending breath, loud shish. Inhale 1, 2, blow for 2, keep those ribs gently resting back into the wall behind you. Soft shish, loud shish. Here's the end breath, 2 engaged, 2 released, 1, 2, released, 2, zip up, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, keeping the back of the neck nice and long and relaxed, loosen the ribbon, engaged inhales, 2, 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, loosen that ribbon, end breath, 2, 2, 1, 2, released. Let's take one more set, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, ribs equally pressing back, engaged inhales, 2, blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shishing, loudly shishing, loosen that ribbon, end breath, 2, 2, 1, 2, released, 2, and finish. Now, these exercises should be repeated once daily, if not more than once daily. They are not aggressive. They are just resets. They're working those type 1 muscle fibers, muscles that don't need more than a 24-hour break, if that. When you're working those higher intensity muscles, yes, you need 24 to 48 hours of recovery to make sure that the muscles have adequate time to heal. In this case, you are gently restoring those type 1 muscle fibers, those endurance, those postural muscle fibers that can and should be worked daily, especially when you're restoring your core. So I'm so incredibly excited for you to perform this breathing every day and have a successful recovery from your birthing process and your entire pregnancy process. It's so exciting to me. I have had 2 babies. My second pregnancy, I had a much faster recovery. I was performing these very, very specific principles, this same exact breathing pattern throughout my pregnancy and after the pregnancy, even on day 1, day 2, just gently listening to a metronome, staying at 60 beats per minute to make sure that my breathing was nice and slow, helped with my stress levels, really upregulated my parasympathetic nervous system. So you're really accomplishing so much. There's so much efficiency by getting to this routine once a day. And these workouts, after you perform and get used to and become adept at these fundamentals, when you get into the workouts are not long. They're between 7 and 15 minutes. They start at about 7 minutes for week 1's workout, and they progress up to about 15 minutes, so they are not overwhelming, and they're meant to be performed when your baby goes down for a nap. You press play on one of these workouts and you go through your breathing routine that is going to restore your autonomic nervous system, give you a more deeper sleep for those very tiny amounts of time that you have where you can sleep, so that you can restore yourself more effectively, and most importantly, restoring that core that has gone through a lot of trauma. We want to give it everything that it needs, that restoration, so that you are less likely to become injured later in life because of SI joint instability or just the core not fusing in the way that it could be optimized by performing these breathing exercises every single day after you have your baby. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.